Welcome to the Scottish Property Podcast. This is a show where we aim to educate, inspire and entertain through real life stories and interviews from people in the Scottish property community.
As always, thanks for listening and give us a follow on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember to join us at our monthly networking events on the first Wednesday of every month. Tickets are available on our website. So without further ado, we'll just cut straight into this week's podcast. Okay, welcome to the Scottish Property Podcast. Stephen Fitzgerald, SFK Property on Instagram. That's how I found you, because you're good at your wee videos. So definitely think there's definitely power in putting yourself out there. Your videos have what got me paying attention to what you're doing. And we've got some exciting stuff to cover here because you're doing some pretty exciting projects. Yep. So thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having us.
Brilliant. Let's just go back to the start then and get a wee bit of background about yourself and who you are as a person. Where did you grow up? Like, where are you from?
Originally Maryhill. I'm from Maryhill.
Maryhill's the new West End.
Aye, definitely.
But it probably wasn't back when you were growing up.
No, it wasn't. It was probably a bit
every time I hear
bad place to go.
Every time I hear somebody say Maryhill,
it's not the glorious of places, but it was.
How do you describe that? Kind of growing up and all that?
It was fine. It was all right. It was
good at school. Straight A's.
Not really academically. No, I wasn't really that good. But it was good at craft and design. What led me into the joinery and took us on to been in the sort of background of construction and that. So.
Brilliant. So that's what you started. Or did you get an apprentice?
Yeah, apprentice joiner. Yep. So joinery background.
What age were you then?
That was straight for school. Yep.
16.
Yeah, always had my dad in my ear.
Get a trade
behind you. And this.
Is that what your dad did?
He was an electrician.
Right. Okay.
My brother electrician. So I came from a sort of background of construction and working on sites and sort of doing up houses and all this sort of stuff as well. So.
I do feel like talking to you and watching you on Instagram. You're a grafter, like you're not scared of a bit of hard work.
If I set a goal, I tend to want to smash that goal and be able to achieve it and reset and go again. So I'm sort of that mindset of that.
Did you go through working with a company or did you go self-employed when you finished your time?
It was the council actually went through. I went through council and then served my time with the council and then sort of went out and ran my own businesses and that for there. I had that sort of didn't want to work for anybody sort of mindset and just wanted to go out there and chase the carrot, as they say. So it was.
And what was that you initially started up then? Like kind of first business venture?
A joinery business, So went on a joinery business and done my advertising and back then it was your leaflets and business cards and all that. I think it's not really a thing anymore, business cards, because it's with social media and that. Back then I wasn't really heavy at that point in time. So.
What age were you then? Like early 20s or mid-20s?
19, 20, yeah. It's a 4-year apprenticeship, isn't it, really?
Just going out yourself and just sort of having that mindset.
A lot of trades do a wee bit of ambition, a bit of drive, just go straight self-employed.
Working at houses are fashionable, aren't they? People always want to do houses up, or they always want to change in some sort of internals in like design or whatever. Maybe a kitchen or a bathroom or that. So I had that in mind, and I seen that there could have been money to be made there.
Did you scale the joinery business up, or
sort of to a degree, yeah? But it was I didn't really like being on the tools. To be honest, it was
sort of the stepping stone.
I sort of seen the stepping stone there, but it was just it was just a stepping stone to move on to further things and
did you see property and development and something you wanted to do in the future?
It was always what I wanted to do. I had that goal. It was funny that because I always had that goal when I was younger to build a house. It was just I had that in my head, was to build houses. And
did you see anyone you resembled, like you looked up to growing up, that you saw that was doing it? Anybody in your friends, family circle?
No, not really. No, I didn't really have that.
Try to pick out these light bulb moments then, when it
it's funny because I'm the same as you, but you've had your mum and dad that were quite entrepreneurial, whereas I'm the same as you.
My mum and dad, they weren't really like that, and it's pretty funny how because I'm that way inclined. It's just like, if I set something, I've got that drive for it, and I'll not stop until I get it, no matter what it is really, you know, and it's a bit ingrained inside me, to be honest with you. So
from the joinery, you went on to, you were saying that you had a boiler. Was it a boiler install business?
Yeah, we had a boiler business, which that's sort of off the back of the boiler business. Boiler business did really well, so that's when I went into the property investing. Was like your sort of hobby investing back then, 7-8 years ago.
So you had a bit of obviously surplus cash.
Yeah, I had the cash. That's where the pot came from.
But why property? Did you have a circle of friends, or did you know somebody that said, "Oh, put your money into property," or did you do some?
You remember the old saying is, "You'll make money in property." Like that was always a thing. Like for me, growing
safe
up,
as houses.
Aye, bricks and mortar. You'll make that money, you know. And I had that, and I had no knowledge of how to do it or what it was.
Bang some cash.
It was
so what was your first property then? The first one you bought? You remember?
The first one I bought was 2014.
Right.
2014, yeah.
Things were. It was quite. 2014 was quite. That was quite a good time.
That was a good time,
wasn't it?
The thing is, like when I was buying, then I was just buying like for just cash flow.
So you didn't know
string to the bow. So
you didn't know anything about
I wasn't
strategies.
what I know now, like it was no strategy.
Just put in a deposit in.
Deposit in. Happy to park that money there.
Whereabouts was that then?
That was in Malton.
In Glasgow,
G21,
North Glasgow.
Yeah. So
you still got that one?
No, anywhere. I've not got a lot of them that I bought back then. The numbers.
Why is that?
The numbers in TAD, they just don't. They don't match my sort of ROIs and my strategies in that now.
You've done that.
Done all that. I think they just increased in value over the last 10 years, like offload them.
I've taken the money for them, and they served a purpose. That was what it was at that point in time.
Was that in your personal name then, just buying them? So how many did you build up? Like
I done 4 or 5 personal, so in personal name before that. We only incorporated SFK to 2020, late 2020.
Right. And was that in line with starting to get your kind of education, if you like, and start to kind of clue yourself up about property?
Definitely. And what happened with it was my boiler company. The margins were getting sort of tight in my boiler company, which we earned good money. It was a decent company. We were contracted by a big company for down south.
Sorry, is that installations, boiler installs?
Installs, yeah. So we were sort of teamed up with a
private or
private. It was all private. Yeah, we had like a sales sourcing company. So we basically just done the installs. Right. We really had the work sort of on our plate for us, really.
Just a given.
Given, yeah. And so we set up the infrastructure there of the business. Had seven vans sort of on the road.
That's quite a
7 vans
business,
and that was from.
Was that the business that got you off the tools then and got you running the business?
Took me sort of off the tools then. I
suppose it helped that it wasn't a business that you did as well. Did it help that it wasn't a business that you knew how to run? Like you weren't a plumbing here engineer, so you had to plug it. I find that as well.
And that's I do think that is like build the team round about you. If own your strengths, work on your strengths, not really your weaknesses. Bring people in there that can sort of work on these places that you're not really that cut out for, or you don't really know too much about.
So 7 vans on the road, I mean, it sounds like you were flying at the time. What happened?
Just the margins were getting tight. So the company, what had happened is we were taking control of the whole job, right? So then what they had done was they were squeezing the sort of profit margins where they were taking money for
more a cut.
Yeah, taking cuts on, but maybe bringing in electricians or this, and they were squeezing them. So we got a good 2 year out of it. But with this, still having this in mind, that with the property we were buying like 1 and 2, it was the target. I mean, over the couple of years there. Before it came to the end of 2019, and I was like, I get into 2020s like property now. I'm going to get myself.
So that the retained profits that you had in that company was what your pot that started?
Well, so what changed then when that 2020 that you went all in property?
So end of 2019, 2020. So we just continued buying. So we were out there. I was getting myself educated, and that was basically on like your YouTubes and doing research and that for just sitting on a computer. Like,
obviously you came across the Scottish Property Podcast and then you were like, that's fucking brilliant.
I didn't even. Do you know what? It's funny that, because I didn't even, and it's funny to actually think that I'm sitting here this day and you've built a decent property podcast, you know, and a lot of viewers and people running about like noses and the sort of calibre of people that he's get on, but I didn't.
Well, now you know us, because we've found you.
Did you do any training at all?
No.
Holy shit. Nick's brought somebody in that hadn't done training, that's doing stuff properly.
So what it was is 2020, so we just bashed on again, and we were buying, and we're having this sort of background of construction, like, as I said this to you, and I could go into a house and into a viewing, and I'd be offering as soon as I leave there, because I'm looking around and I'm doing the numbers in my head, and I can cost up a refurb, and I'm pretty fortunate to have that.
Yeah.
So we were doing that, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
COVID hit. So we were doing what we could. I think we bought two or three on 2020, and working in what we could do in terms of refurb. So I think we were sort of locked up for like 6 months for that. So coming to the end of 2020, we sold one and kept two. Went to Dubai, my family holiday with my good lady and my wee boy Ford. He gets a bit of recognition of that on Instagram.
He's a wee cutie guy on Instagram. Like, he's always in your van and all that.
He's there.
The sidekick.
Doing playing the tunes and all that, doing a bit of dancing and stuff.
He knows. He knows about new builds, and he knows about buy-to-lets, and he knows about all this sort of stuff as well already. And he's only just turned 4, which is pretty scary. But so we went to Dubai, and we had started up social media coming to the end of 2019. And as I was saying to you, Stephen, it was for the fact that business orientated altogether, and was just to put everything that I was doing.
Yeah,
I want to showcase it. Just to
build up that personal brand,
build up the personal brand, and steady behind the sort of logo of SFK Property. And I was following guys that was pretty inspiring. And when I was out in Dubai, one of these guys had put up on Instagram, "I'm in Dubai. Anybody want to catch up? Cheer a fat about property, whatever." Then. I
don't actually mind mentioning the guy, because generally we don't like to give people, plugs and stuff like that.
Especially for a training company for Nick.
If it's a training company, I don't like to give them free publicity. But Danny Inman, isn't it?
It's Danny. Yeah.
Danny Inman.
He's not really got a training company, is he? It's more a network.
It's a group, isn't it, that he does. Well, it's a kind of. I mean, the reason why I don't mind Danny is because he kind of talks it from all angles. Yeah. He doesn't just show the kind of fancy lifestyle, the get rich quick and all the rest of it. He kind of shows, he's very on top of the economic side as well, which I like. I like following the news and the economics, and he talks a lot about inflation and interest rates and all the rest of it, and he's very smart on that.
I'm surprised you mentioned him, because have you not reached out to get him on the podcast? He turned you down or ignored you?
I'll have to. Well, I have to look back in my DMs now, because I think
we spoke about his content before, so it was really, really good content.
I think I did. So maybe you could get us in there, mate, because you're one of his top. You're one of his top students, poster boy for Danny Inman. What is it he calls himself? There's wealth. No, his name is group.
Oh, prosperity.
Prosperity.
Aye, so just basically when it's what you said there about Danny being very transparent and honest and I sort of, there's a lot of characteristics there. Like I was like, that's very genuine. So I went to meet him, and he was just starting Prosperity around about that time, or it just started, and just general chit chat. We had like, football, politics, property, just as what we'd sit and usually do. You would usually do with a mate over a coffee or whatever, and he said a couple of things to us, and it was like stuff that I didn't know, and he was happy to help me out there and then. And he said about his Prosperity Network, and I was like, I said, ping it out and I'll have a look now. It's basically an educational sort of property platform, and ever since I joined it, it's put me in a place that really I'm at.
You feel that you get good value out of that though, because like I'm almost very wary of people that want to meet up for a coffee and then try to get you to join a group. Do you know what I mean?
Well, so like it wasn't there was no hard sell.
There wasn't any of that.
No, because
you think it's come from a decent place.
I definitely. He's one of my closest mates now, and not just him. His missus as well was really good friends with my missus as well, and. It's so there's no hard sale. I'm against hard sale. You know, I wouldn't. I'd have been like that too. You know what, mate? Like, fair enough, and that's it. But it was. It's
in our Scottish nature to fucking turn down the sale.
Aye, definitely, and there was nothing like that at all. And the group had just.
You really saw the benefit of it straight away. Of kind of surrounding yourself.
It's a join or no join. So there's no. You didn't put my arm up my back and say, look, you need to go and join this for a minimum fee or whatever it was. It was pennies anyway, no matter what. So that was in the background. That was in a half chat. It sort of like the Prosperity Network, and then when I did have a look at it was mentioning some things about like angel investors, and right at the start, like I knew you could maybe get a lot of people's money or whatever. I didn't really know what to do with these angel investors.
That was a huge thing.
Aye, and it was really that. And then when I had a look at it, I think we got locked up again, like sort of through COVID and stuff like that, and I sort of knuckled down, and there was a lot of stuff on the Prosperity Network that on the platform and the portal that I knew, but there was shitloads that I didn't know, and I just knuckled down. And
did that pique your interest to dig down deep?
Was that a light bulb then? Was that a light bulb moment in terms of
that was a big light bulb moment.
What you could do with other people's money?
The realisation that angel investors now, I put a bit of post on this, and that is that angel investors to me they're just normal people. You know, when people
some cash in the bank
portray them as like angel investors, a lot of people go, this is a multi-millionaire guy or sold a business. Like we've got angel investors that they lend like 20 grand, 30 grand. Now, right at the start that we're sort of minimum now to a degree, but it's like
the average person's got that in their bank.
And I think the postman could be an angel investor as such, you know.
Do you think it's a term, angel investor, that puts people off a lot?
It does. I believe that. I do believe that. So there was plenty of information on the Prosperity Network, and as I say, I just got self-educated for that, doing a lot of other stuff myself, and that was basically it. Really, that was a light bulb moment to take me to.
How does it work then? Because I'm always interested in this. When people do the private investor stuff, you do it yourself, Stephen. Both Stephens do it. Sit in front of me. I've never done it myself. The mindset of taking somebody else's money.
Well, you can lend me your money, Nick, and you can learn the process.
How much have you got?
We've been sitting here now.
He's been saying for fucking the last 2 years he's got 200 grand in the bank. I'm like, fucking lend me it.
I'll speak to you.
So
see if you can get it.
So like you said, you didn't really understand it until you started kind of talking to other people who did it and all that. So can you remember the first time you had to kind of, that you had that conversation with somebody where you're actually pitching yourself to try and get money off them? And how did that feel?
This sort of thing's on the Prosperity Network as well. It actually puts you in a position where sitting down in front of people. But for me, always, no matter what it is in business, it's honesty and transparency, and I don't mind having conversations with people. I'm that sort of guy, and for my first wasn't anybody out within. It was sort of close to us anyway. The first
that tends to happen quite a lot, doesn't it? Friends or family can be your first,
because they need to believe in you and sort of trust you as well. But that's everything that we do in social media is it's validation as well for our angel investors.
Did that give you the confidence then after that kind of first one?
That built the confidence. Now we're in a position of, there's a couple of individuals want to fund between 2 million up to 25 million with us, and that's basically off of the back of where we're at this day with the new building.
Does that all happen when you go down to, is it Warrington or something like that, where he has his
everything's in that room.
Everybody meets up, isn't it? Every quarter or something.
I believe every what's in that room is opportunity. It's just the energy and opportunity. There's people doing crazy things in these sort of rooms.
It's so important to get around the people like that, because I'm assuming your circles would be very much like my circle growing up. No one was talking business, no one was looking at doing something different, doing something that bit more for life. And as soon as you get in a room with 50 people, 40 people, 100 people, it just fucking fills you. It fills you up with this fucking huge buzz that you're with people that want to do it. And this is why I love even the podcast. Like once a month we sit and record 4 episodes of the podcast. We chat with someone like you, and I love it. You come away from this day buzzing because you've just spoke with people like-minded, similar journeys, similar stories, or different, that you can always take someone that inspires you. And you find that inspiration just drives you. Like if someone else is sitting there that can almost, he's got the same background as me. If he can build 20 houses, why can I not build 20 houses? He can raise the money for it, why can I not raise the money for it? Does it give you that confidence?
Definitely. It is that, and I believe it's the work you put in really as well, and you need to be showing up. It's just as simple as that. You need to show up in these places. You're not really going to get to. For me, is I've got my goals. I know, like I've got goals set out like weekly, like monthly, yearly, 5-year plan, and a 10-year plan. That's basically what I've got, you know.
I think we did a goal setting thing on the podcast, and I've never done it since. But I should maybe revisit it.
Let's go do it again.
I think I was like 40 when we started the podcast. I said by the time I'm 45, we'll have 20 properties. But we're now like approaching that, and I'm like, fuck, better get a move on. Do you know what I mean?
Let's go and revisit these goals. I'm going to listen to that episode and pull you back on it.
So I do that. Like I think the goal setting is good. Keeps you on track, and I know it works for a lot of people. I guess I'm just get a bit lazy that way.
So the last few years, where's this taken you to then?
So last few years I've been a bit crazy. We've got targets for residential stuff, is your buy-to-lets, BRRRs, these funny names that they're calling them the flips as well. And
you need to give us some numbers, mate. Like I know you don't want to dive into specifics, but just like give us. Have you got? When you set out your goals, do you, like some people say, right, for me it was like 20 properties between 45, right? Or do you have like a certain like income level, like I need to be making this monthly cash flow?
So my strategy's capital and cash flow. So the new build stuff is your capital, and the lower end stuff of the market, we buy between 50 to 100k. And your 1 beds, 2 beds, well, 1 bed is 675 you're turning over on these, so that's a sort of cash flow. But
and you were saying like last year, you gave me a figure on the phone. Can you share it? Like I think you said you bought 4 or 5, was it? And this year, no more. Maybe?
No, more than that. Yeah, we've been involved in about 20 transactions this year.
Is it?
Purchases, yeah, sales.
Not all to hold. Not all to hold it.
No.
Some flips.
Yep, flips as well, yep.
Sourcing as well,
and refinancing that as well. So.
And is that all around Glasgow?
Yeah, and so not all around Glasgow and surrounding area as well. East Kilbride, South Lanarkshire and that as well. Our goal for the new build as well is we want to be building it actively up to 15 million. To about 25 million.
Is this the new goal, the new level? Then the portfolio is the portfolio going to continue to grow?
It speaks for itself, really.
And then this is the foundation to then go and do the development.
Yeah, that'll turn over itself because we've got built teams in them.
You got your own staff in there, or have you got letting agents?
No, it's sort of subcontracted stuff, and come back to building good relationships with people and. Knowing that the speed that we want, like everybody I speak to, I tell them what I want to do and what I want to achieve. And
see, when you said that, what was that figure? 15 million.
Yeah.
So that's the GDV.
So GDV actively, yes. We're sitting now at a GDV of between both a GDV of £6 million in the current pipeline.
In the pipeline, right? So
is that on 1 or 2 sites? Is it? Or
3 sites.
Is it 3 sites?
3 sites. Yeah. So it's
when we say GDV, is that in effect turnover?
The end value, gross development value. Yeah.
Aye, but that's what you sell the properties for.
Yes.
Aye. So what in business terms, that would be like turnover, sales.
Yeah. Aye.
So then we break it down. Aye, and then obviously is that your kind of trading income then, the kind of development stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got your investment.
What's the site's made up of then? Is it
so we've got a site in detailed planning just now, application for 6 new build luxury homes.
Nice.
We've got one
high end.
Yep, high end. Yeah. We've got one just past planning there as well, so we'll take it into building warrant stage. One on that site, and we've got one actively as well, which is mid-build now.
Oh, it's mid-build at one current site?
Yeah.
How many units is that then, is it?
One new build.
So you're not going for affordable housing, you're not going for this kind of...
My model's know that.
You need to have a look at his... if you look on his Instagram, I think you've thrown up a few drawings and plans and stuff like that.
Nice. And this is...
What made you target that end? Because I do like the sound of that end. At the new build developers I speak to, like I've got quite a few friends that build out houses, and they're saying that the margins are almost guaranteed with your affordable housing because you can exit to the councils or housing associations, and the margins are 15% but guaranteed. But when you look at the margins on a luxury house that you can get to be creative and create something fucking spectacular, there's almost a bigger margin, but then a risk associated with it because you don't know if you're going to sell it. What made you go for that over the guaranteed?
Well, you can't really polish a shite, you know. So you couldn't be building these sort of places in sort of deprived areas. Yeah. So where we're looking to qualify pieces of land is affluent areas are well thought areas, you know. So
people pay the money for it.
And you know, like a good product does sell, you know. So you're qualifying that right away, and that's all in part of the qualifying. The land, the build, your costs, and everything else that goes with that, you know.
Yeah. Hey, this is where Negative Nick jumps in now. Douche. Right?
Oh, I feel for you, mate. You're on the other side there now.
I would last 2 minutes down that room in Warrington, mate. I'd be chucked out. So what scares me about this model is obviously, you know, high-end developments, luxury and that. I mean, higher interest rates, this environment that we're in at the moment where, you know, lending's expensive. So how are you funding these projects? Is it the private, or are you having to go with the mainstream lenders as well? Or?
Yeah, institutional lending. Yeah. But we have got fair social media platforms, and that's how, let's say, we're angel investors and we put everything out there. It's validation on that, and there's people seeing what we're doing now, and like individuals with a lot of cash, they sitting in the bank, they don't really want that. They're pretty clever guys, you know, and we offer good returns on that as well, and in terms, and it's really that. So we've got a couple of big investors on board with us at this moment in time. But what I'm trying to do is build a relationship with institutional lending and also private lending. So that I can
fund the gap almost.
So that really then I could spread my wings.
Yeah. So that house in Jackton, then what are we talking? Is that a 5-bedroom luxury?
5-bedroom luxury home, yeah. 4,500 square foot internal.
What do you think the end sale price on that would be?
It's £1 million house.
Is it? Superb.
It's £1 million house.
How much is the land for that?
Sorry,
I'm trying to break it down here.
Time, boys.
Yes, £1 million house. Here we go. Where's
these sort of houses, like, we're qualifying the end user right away. So somebody who's buying these are going to be, their affordability is going to be income of 150k, 175k per annum. You know, it's no wee Joe Blogs for the pub. It's going to be buying these sort of.
Where's this one located?
The one that's active.
Jackton.
Is that a
right next to Fortin Hall?
Right, I know what you mean.
Basically, where all the footballers stay.
Nice.
Footballer-esque sort of. And it's easy to describe.
Did you buy the land outright, or did you? So you've got an option on it. Yeah.
How did you source that land? Is that just on?
Just with speaking to people and telling them what. So it was in one of my 5-year goals was to be developing out, and I achieved it in my first year. But I've got a coach, Michael Almond, who's through Prosperity as well, who's doing the same sort of model. It's basically his same model, and I'm replicating it in Scotland. There's not really many people doing it in Scotland.
Is that Danny? Does he not do? He does luxury builds as well, does he not?
Danny's just done 4. He's just done 4 down south there.
And I'm thinking to yourself, I mean, it's quite smart now that we kind of go in deeper, because like if you're just building like what you were talking about, you know, average homes for the Joe public, you know, wider audience,
get an A on that.
You're competing against so many people, aren't you?
That's it.
But like I'm trying to think, who's your competition? You know, is it Cala Homes? Not really, because Cala,
the cookie cutter approach.
Cala are not even in. You know, they're a little bit higher above the average.
That's exactly.
But they're not right up at the
small
top.
SME builder that's just building bespoke.
I've found like a gap in the market. I found a gap in the market.
What's the risk? Because I'm a high value, high risk. So what, you know, you must have thought about risks, or do you not think about risks? You know, think about the downside, you just go for it.
Not really, mate. Nah, to be fair, it's pretty much calculated, but I'm making sure there's enough margin to cushion any blows in any deal.
So what was the land price on that side then?
The land price?
Yeah.
I'll keep that one to myself.
All right, what's your build cost then? You got on price per square metre to
I
build
was
it?
speaking to Nico on this. It's like everybody will be different on that because...
Did you put a main contractor in, or was you project managing your own boys?
I'm doing that myself.
So you're pulling that cost right
so
in.
everything, client, PD, you know, right down the triangle, right to the bottom. Like I'm in there sometimes sweeping up and throwing bits of wood in the skirt.
So what stage are you at with Jackton then? Have you got the fines going in or what?
Aye, so we're basically... We've got the roofs going on tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Brilliant. Sorry, I've seen it on the...
I was going to say, have you been following me, Nick?
Sorry, mate. I'm slipping up here.
That's almost wind and water type.
Please excuse me, I was on holiday for a week there, so I think you just put the roof on last week, didn't
I'll give you that one, pal.
He's went for foundations in the last fucking week. It's up wind and water.
Well, considering you hadn't heard about it, you hadn't heard about the podcast until you came here the day, so
apologies.
I know more about you and you know
about myself.
So what's your time frame on that first one then?
Q1 of next year.
Nice, finished.
2024, yeah.
Good time to put on the market itself.
Are you trying to drive up?
Definitely. We site visit.
Anytime, guys.
Are you looking to sell off market to try and find a buyer based on CGIs or models off it, knowing that it's going to be a bespoke buyer?
CGIs and that they're on sort of platforms and stuff. Off plan, we'll try and get buyers in there off plan, resi fees. Committing to
take a deposit, a non-refundable deposit.
No, just I'll buy that, blah, blah, and get your money out then, you know, and we'll get a reservation fee off you. So that's basically it. It's basically.
I suppose the people, your end user on that, the person that's going to be buying £1 million property is going to pay a 10% non-refundable, conclude missives in 3 weeks, knowing they ain't pulling out it, and you're going to finish it in that time frame. So I suppose it takes the risk out if you can find a buyer off market then.
Exactly, that's why it's not so much getting the land and doing the building. It's getting out of any deal, really.
Yeah,
it's the exit. So
have you got development financing on board with this site?
Yeah. So this is where I'm saying about this. Drawdown. So this is where I'm saying we're building the relationship with institutional, because although I've got big goals and plans for SFK and the development side, is I don't actually know how big it's going to go, and if we've got like these private investors, like maybe up to like 25 million who we're in talks with at this moment in time, which is very close, there's a couple, will they be able to go at a scale of maybe 20, 30? Institutional will, but will these sort of individuals go? So that's how I'm trying to build both, so that I can just go and spread my wings.
That's great that you're talking about that, and I totally admire you for talking to these levels, you know, because I could really never think that. I don't think I could think that big. I've probably got quite a narrow mindset that I can think into the millions at the moment, just because I've got so much else going on in my life.
No, you didn't.
But do you know, see the thing is, Nick, it's like, see Monday to Friday, it's like, I don't really, I'm robotic, I'm just goals that off a list, but when it comes to the weekend, I'm sort of like, what am I doing here? You know, like I'm actually doing. I'm putting into what I've sort of manifested
visualised,
and my vision, and even with the teams that I'm building for the new build development side, is they all know what I'm wanting to achieve. Like when you go into our office up there,
did you ever watch that? You ever watch that programme on Channel 4, that guy Phoenix guy that's doing it down south?
No, I didn't see it.
Check this fucking out. I only. It was my missus that brought me to it, because she knows I'm not sitting and watching telly. So she's like, you need to watch this. It's on Channel 4. Looked it back on what the platform was. And this boy's building bespoke houses for like multi-millionaires, like £15 million houses. You should see the shit that he puts in his houses. And it's almost sounding like the vision you want to take into Scotland. Check it out. Like, I wonder if you'd seen it. Really, really cool. Like, and what impressed, what my mindset shift by watching it actually was, and it was what your point I was interrupting you there, was the teams here plasters that, like fucking Venetian plasters that he had on the payroll, that were all these boys, the teams that he brought with him were making a fortune just to stay with him, because he got the quality boys, paid them well, kept them on his team, didn't just get the Jakey fucking planter for down the road. You can't do that on a £1 million house.
That's exactly that in a nutshell. And
how do you find that then? How you
it's all the tendering process. I've done all that myself, like everything is going back to like with build costs and things like that again. Like I've done a whole tendering processes and that, and we've got a grounds team, civils team now, we've got a builders, we've got a brickies, we've got all these
all in your company, all in house.
No under SFK property, subcontracted. But these guys,
got that relationship with them.
These guys know what we've got in the pipeline, where we're going next, and it's just a cookie cutter model again for what we've done in the lower end stuff is picking the same teams up and dropping them onto the next site and could build ourselves then.
And are these guys good at performing at that level? Because like I said, like you get yourself, you're putting a kitchen in a 60 grand flat. Is the same kitchen? You're going to use the same kitchen fit to put in a £1 million house?
Well, it comes down to budget costs as well, and it comes down to the individual. You need to be having this sort of stuff nailed on, because we'll go back to these sort of big numbers that was saying to you, Nick. Like these big numbers are only on a spreadsheet. Like at the end of the day, these big numbers aren't turning over until the deal's done.
It's sold.
These things, So it's like don't get attracted by these numbers.
And I understand as well when Stephen asked the question why you don't want to talk too much about figures, because at the end of the day, like you just said, it doesn't mean anything until it's actually
doesn't mean anything, and so it's moving way that, And
so we'll bring you back on a year's time, then we can talk about this.
We'll see.
What was that transparency?
So what I want to know is discussing the actual projects themselves. When we're talking about building luxury homes, what differentiates a luxury home where you can charge £1 million to a 5-bedroom, bog standard wimpy house? Do you know what I mean? What is the difference? How can you charge that premium? What sort of kitchen are you putting in? What sort of bathrooms? Is there solar panels? What kind of heating systems and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Touch on that a wee bit.
So firstly, it's location. Location is it needs to be desirable.
People you're paying a premium for that land.
You're paying that right away off the back. So
and is that schools? Like obviously,
it sort of works the same as when you're qualifying your buy-to-lets or your flips or whatever. It's all about location. However, you need to make sure that the build is premium. You just can't build like
shite.
Exactly. You just can't build.
So how does that differ in terms of like the materials you're using?
You spend in the right places then. You spend in the right places, you spend in your right places in terms of like your kitchens, bathrooms, tiles.
Square
if you walk into a normal 5-bed house and into a new build luxury home, and you see what's on the ground, do you know if it's porcelain tiles or anything like that? Do you know it? Do you actually know that? So there's wee aspects in where you can where you can spend less and then spend
God, I'm walking into some buy-to-let, some like that vinyl now that you get raw vinyl, the lino. Sometimes you think you're walking into a room with tiles and that, because it's that,
so you're still
touch it, you're like, is this tiles or is this vinyl?
You're still getting quality at reasonable prices. So what we spend in the right places, and we do that. Maybe had the conversation. He says, "Oh, you do up your buy-to-lets and your flips and that to a degree." But that's what I want the people to think is when they go in and see this is.
I got the same thing. Me a few years back, they were like, "Why are you putting porcelain rows of tiles on a fucking 70 grand flat, like buy to let 1-bed flat in Aberdeen, because I've got a deal with them that I get them for $19.99 a square metre."
Exactly.
So the same price of shitty B&Q tile I'd put in that people would go, "Oh, it's alright," and it fits the purpose. Now you go and it's a stunning looking flat that's getting a huge high end value, and you're like,
exactly that.
That's
and the people will pay more for that.
Pay more for
going into rent, and maybe if you've got the tenant or the client has got 5 viewings that day, and then they come to yours at the end, and they go, "Oh, what one's getting left on it?" And
it's quite if you've got the background and you're in the trades, I think that's okay to go down that route. But if you have no experience in property, that's a slippery slope to failure, because you can really overspend if you go luxury on a buy to let if you don't have.
But this is the point I always try and make, and I teach all the time, is it's not about, porcelain rows of tile that I've put in my buy to let is £109 on their showroom, but I'm getting them for $19.99 on the account you've got.
Because the experience that you have,
you just have to negotiate. You have to understand that.
Yeah, but most people don't that are new. That's a slippery slope.
And this is where they fuck it. You know,
yeah, exactly. That's what I go back on, because these people that are new should be making sure that they're no new.
Yeah,
making sure that they are getting the right education.
Yeah.
You know, and no buying into these big thousands of pounds, and like, get yourself educated. You know, and spend that bit of time on yourself, because if you're going in and you're going in blind, then
I can see you guys becoming great pals.
I'm coming to this new house, like, I'm fucking go
anytime, mate. Anytime.
It's a positive Stevens and a negative Nick.
No, I mean, like, obviously, we're talking millions. Like, this is great. I love the chat, but there has to be, building a house that size, it has to come with its challenges as well. And I'm sure you have faced your challenges. So what for the benefit of the listeners who are maybe would love to embark on a project like that, you know, the benefit that you've got now with hindsight coming to put your roof on, what has been the main challenges?
Now, I'm learning every single day on this. We're all learning every single day, and there's challenges every day. So it's finding the solutions really to the challenges. We've not really had much challenges of yet on this one.
Plain sailing so far until the next storm comes and blows the roof off.
Well, storm. Well, that's the thing. If you maybe go down and say like the weather, but I don't really find I don't really find much challenges, because I know if there's challenges, I'll find the solution.
I like that. You get a great attitude,
and that's the way I've always been. And it'll be fixed.
How's your mindset on the financial aspect? Like you've got obviously like the development finance with drawdowns. Are you servicing that monthly, or are you rolling it up?
Rolling up.
Aye, so so it's maybe not quite as bad to maybe feel the pinch every month going, fuck, this is increasing.
It's really down to the individual as well, because if you then want to go like monthly, then you would be looking at your cash flow then, wouldn't you? So you can maybe even up with some of that or whatever, you know. But
I suppose in this project you're rolling it all up to get your profit in the back end and capitalise it. What I find really interesting, I fucking love when trades are doing property, because I always find that tradesmen are so fucking pig-headed, they think they know best. And because if you look at I've came up from trades background, so all my friends, families, they're all trades, and none of them have got properties, but they all say, I can price a renovation just like that, and I can do this and I can do that, but that part of the property is this tiny small part of it. The part that you're talking about understanding development finance, or understanding how to negotiate a bit of land or get it through planning permission, these are the things that actually put you on a different pedestal. Why do you think other people don't look at it from I don't know, and I'm going to go and learn how to do this?
Because you just can't really be asked, to be honest with you. Trades are they're comfortable, and like you need to be a sort of personality chameleon we're working with, because when you know yourself, you're your brand, you're dealing with so many moving parts and so many different personalities, you know. Some either need maybe a wee cuddle, or it's either a boot in the arse, you know what I mean?
I'm laughing at you saying that, because I seen Stevie laughing at me there, the side laughing, because I'm on the phone to my roofer in the office yesterday, and my voice changes. All right, pal, what's happening? And it's like, I'm going to come on the podcast and try and talk a wee bit more polite and a little bit slower, but the roofer chat or the sparky chat.
You change into these sort of personalities, you know, and we come back to, I've been in that industry, you know, and worked with these guys, and it's funny because these guys will tell you how to build a house as well, and they've never ever done it. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, you listen and just respect.
And I've always said that as well. The most advice I get is probably my fucking J.K. Joyner or my numpty landscaper that lives in a council house for the last 40 years, but he'll tell me where I should be buying. Should be buying there, son. Should be buying there. Should be building that. Should be this. And I'm like, fucking you.
J.K. Joyner, listen to this podcast. Put your rates up for Stephen.
I got called out. Remember the J.K. fucking plaster that fucked my HMO project now? He called me on the. Who you calling the J.K. plaster? I goes, you fucking dick. And the plaster fell off my fucking walls. That's why you came called to your fucking heathen, and I paid the price. He called me on it.
The challenges are I find the solutions, mate.
What about the planning, right? Everyone I speak to about new build planning is a fucking nightmare with the councils.
But that's out of my control.
What council is that, Jackton?
South Lanarkshire.
South Lanarkshire.
We're all South Lanarkshire with the builds.
Right. I heard they're actually not too bad.
Nah, they've been okay.
How did you find your architect and your team to get that through planning? Because I think that'd be really important.
See, it's out of your control until so once planning's submitted, it's really out of your control then.
But is it not like I kind of sense from I've not. The plan
you can press. There's a bit of pressure that you can there because you've got a name and a number.
Aye, but
that's
then
what
also
I need at times because I'll press a life at you. You know what I mean? That's the way I'm on, no matter who it is.
It's almost like that kind of that relationship thing as well. Like if the architect does a lot in South Lanarkshire and he's got a good relationship with the plan department, if they see an application coming in from this architect, they're like, "Oh, it's Jock, that great architect we got him brought with." This will be fine. Let's just start. Have you found that person yet?
No. As such with my architects, he could maybe have that, but that's again is paying you're paying these sort of people to then take care of this. I've sat down with my architect and says, look, this is where we want to go. This is what we'll be designing. This is another site that we've got. So
he's on board with the vision.
He knows where we want to be and where we want to go with that in terms of vision as well. So he's obviously wanting the business, isn't he? As simple as that. So it's a win-win again. I'm saying, look,
the business and the commission, but then if somebody like yours building £1 million houses and they end up in publications and getting a lot of attention, the architects then, so if, the architect can design what the fuck he wants. If no one builds it out, then they never bring his plans to fruition. But if you're the one that's delivering it, he's going to back you all the way, isn't he? He's going to be in your corner.
Aye. And with the planning, we've actually been not too bad with the planning. I think Jackton was.
How long would that take?
Yeah, I remember it was big. It was. I think that one was. We were 36 weeks, right? 36 weeks. We closed the deal, and planning was 21 weeks to get it approved.
Right,
which is actually not too bad because for my mates like down south and that, like they're like, you're lucky,
right?
You're lucky, and I'm like I'm pulling my hair out of this because I'm just wanting things done and to get a move on again and set this up and set that up. And
did you settle on the land before you started submitting the planning then?
So we always go subject to planning.
When it was approved. So that 21 weeks, you're not sitting and paying.
We'll buy either or, but we'll buy when it's had like outline planning or it's had something on there that we then can go in, rejig, put our model on it, and then resubmit. That's what we'll do.
So it's already been through the process of
we'll
being
utilise
approved,
that space because when people's doing a plan again, they're just tossing something on it.
Cookie card, there you go.
To make that bit, that bit on top. So we'll assess the land, we'll go and we'll qualify it, and if it meets our model, then that's when we'll go, right, hold on, right, we'll subject to planning.
So this first one, another one just been approved, another one going through planning, that's putting the flow going, that's brilliant.
That's a pipeline, so it's sitting at 6 million, and then as I say, I'm wanting to be in the next 5 years sitting at a 25 million active pipeline. Awesome. So every single day I'm into that. I write the 5 main goals down every single day.
Is that right?
Believe it or not.
Aye.
Well, and I'm wanting to make progress to that every single day.
Yeah, moving that.
It's only my missus that really sees this,
What is your kind of mission? Like, what is your kind of what's important to you? Is it like, some people have the flash cars, some people just want lifestyle, some people, what is important to you?
I'm not really interested in any of that sort of stuff. See, like flash cars, and you'll see from my Instagram, I'm not really interested in that at all. It's really, what I get my kicks out of is getting a better deal than I did the last deal.
Achieving something.
Believe it or not, money is it's not an object to me. Like it's that. Obviously, we all love nice things. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't. Nice holidays or whatever, but that's not in here. It's not what's in here is being better than what I did last.
Quite competitive. Would you describe yourself as quite competitive? You've been competitive. Do you play any sports growing up or anything like that?
I played football and that.
Quite competitive.
So very competitive. I'm into my fitness. Love fitness. Like, I need my fitness for my mindset. Mindset to me is everything. Mindset to me is everything. I need to keep tuned up. I don't really drink anymore. I don't really
did you used to?
I wasn't a heavy drinker.
But affect your mindset.
It was. This isn't going to work for me. We've all been there. This isn't going to work. Like,
what age are you now?
37. 37.
You've got 2 kids, family, things.
2 kids, family. 45. Done. Lending money out. That's me.
We're all saying 45. You're the closest to it. So get his money when he's 45.
That's really interesting you say that as well, because eventually you do want to become that investor where everyone else is running around doing the work, isn't it?
I want to find a guy
to be you
today.
That's really interesting.
And we've got, as I say, we've got a couple of individuals now that are seeing that in us for our social platforms, but we're in contracts.
So you still quite
negotiating contracts.
I mean that brings into a whole new level. Like, you know, we'd have spoken to people on the podcast before where they sit down with people who promise them the earth in terms of funds and all that, and then, you know, they pull out the last minute, and obviously that's down to you to do that relationship building, due diligence and all the rest of it. So that is quite a skill in itself, isn't it?
Even though with my solicitors know where we're going and where we want to be. I've sat down with my solicitor and told them, look, like, no prioritise me or anything like that, but they know where our vision again and where we want to be in our plan. So anything like that at all, like in terms of like angel investors, and we're talking big money and that, I get my solicitor to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like after we've had the chat, broke ice and stuff like that, we've had the chat and terms and things like that, it's right into my solicitors to deal with their solicitors after that. So it's a bit more professional and comes a bit more heavier with the solicitor background, you know. Just to show it we mean business.
Any tips for the listeners on how to sort of find the private investors? And always like to
find them and bring them to me, aye.
You're not getting anywhere near my investors.
And we're always just sitting in front of investors all the time.
How valuable is the Instagram mean? Because you've got a good wee page there set up with, you know, your personal brand and all that. That's
what I was just going to touch on there, is anybody starting out or looking for investment is actually show what you're doing. Don't
and I think the key to
transparency, you know, and validation that's what our social network platforms is. This is where your money and that's gone. You know, this is what we're doing. You know, this is what it is. But it's just I
find it being out there as well that you almost gives the people or gives an investor that bit of comfort, like you're not just going to bugger off somewhere, whereas maybe the ones that are behind the scenes and don't put themselves out there can easily just fucking take your money and run to a certain extent, but for you put yourself out there on a platform.
For me, it cuts you above like the rest, and people like, you know, I wouldn't say myself because that sounds big-headed, but yourself is that it's the personal videos, right? Selfie videos. You could be SFK Property, right, and have the most amazing developments and pictures and all the rest of it, but you don't put yourself on the camera. Exactly. I wouldn't be interested, mate. I'd be like flicking.
We've said this 17 times before, and there's probably a lot of people in the Scottish community that are doing shitloads with their page, but the minute I see a property page follow me, I'm like, I'm not following you, because all you got to do is post up a fucking logo, then a picture of a site and a before and after. I want to know a personality. I want to know someday what you're up to, what you're doing, what's your family life. Can I relate to you?
A brand again. I go to sleep in this, you know. This is my attire, you know, constant
day in day out.
And it's you are your brand, you know, like, and exactly what you said there, Nick. Nobody's going to give you funding if you're hiding behind a badge or a logo. And that's how I started my Instagram. Was, as I say, like, it was a lot of pretentious people on it, and like, this is what I'm eating for dinner, and I'm in this fancy restaurant and stuff like that. You know, I wasn't interested in that. It's everything is business orientated round about what we do, and you can see that for our social platforms. Everything's a post to me.
I mean, you must spend a bit of time in that as well, because it is time consuming.
I block out, believe it or not. I block out half an hour a day to. I don't plan it, but I'll go, right, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'll put on. It's just sort of off the cuff. But we've took 5 investors for Instagram.
Brilliant. Just good.
The space of maybe 7-8 months.
But you have to talk about it as well. You have to ask about it, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
It's been building up for 2 years, you know. Like,
it's not get rich quick, get money in fast.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And
I've shown up every day.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen some of our stuff sort of put out there with other people as well, which has been sort of recycled a wee bit as well. But like, I'm all for that, you know. If it's get yourself out there, like, it's definitely the way forward, because you're going to sit behind, as you say, logos and stuff like that. Nobody's going to invest in you.
Nobody's going to buy into you.
Nah, exactly.
That's good, mate. Appreciate you taking the time and coming in.
Love the chat. Where can people actually follow you? What's the name of your page so that people can follow the developments in there?
SFK Property. And we're on LinkedIn as well, Stephen Fitzgerald. Facebook as well, Stephen Fitzgerald. So
we'll stick a wee link in the show notes. And
you'll have to get him along as a guest speaker on the podcast event.
If you wouldn't, that'd be great. Get along with our networking events. It's not quite as big as Warrington, but we're about 70 people we usually get.
So a shout, mate.
It's a good wee community we've got going,
Brilliant, mate. No, appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
No bother.
Cheers.